Well guys, in today's video I will do the laboratory exercise number 5, which is our objectives are design a Cisco based web programming system, determine the difference between static and dynamic routing, create their own websites and links, okay, determine the function of the server in the networks. So identify how the server responses at the client's request. Of course, we need to open our Cisco packet tracer. Okay, so we'll be needing our end devices, which are three PCs, 2 routers, and 3 servers. Okay, for our end devices, we have our dynamic. We have our 3 PCs here, and for our network device, we have our 2 switches. Okay, oh sorry, that is a router. So these are the switch, and our servers, we will find it in our end devices also. So I have 3 servers. 1, this is 2. Okay, our 2 PCs will be configured as our dynamic. So this one will be dynamic 1. Label it as a dynamic 1, and this one is dynamic 2. Okay, 2, and our 1 PC here will be configured as our static IP. So maybe we have to static PC. Okay, dynamic 1, dynamic 2. So our servers, so I will connect our 3 PCs with our switch here. So I will connect automatic connection type here, 1, 2, and our dynamic. So for our dynamic, we have to set our dynamic here, configuration as IP, set it to DHCP, that is a already dynamic configuration. So you have dynamic configuration, it is already automatic. We have our IP address in our subnet mask. Okay, so the same with our dynamic 2, we have to set this as dynamic. Wait for the IP address. See, okay. For our static, we will manually configure it with the IP, which is static here, with the IP 172.16.0.90. Subnet mask will automatically be populated. So for our servers, I will connect our servers in our one server here in our 1 switch. So this will be our DHCP server. So for the configuration, the gateway would be 726.0.1, and this will be the IP I will use is 172.168.0.10, and the subnet mask will be automatically populated, which is 255.255.0.10. 0. For it will be clarified, I will label this as, this will be our DHCP. Okay, and IP address is 72.16.0.10. Okay, this is the IP of our DHCP. Okay, moving here, and we will be using gateway. Gateway will be 172.16.0.1. Okay, so this other server here, it will be our DNS server. Okay, configuration would be, okay, I will configure first our DHCP. Okay, for our services, we will configure these services. Okay, for the services, we have to turn off our HTTP. Okay, off, and the HTTP will be on. Okay, since it is our DHCP server, so default gateway will be 172.160.1, and our DNS server will be 172.160.11. so start IP address would be 100, and subnet mask will be 255.255.0.0. then I will save our services. Okay, so for our DNS, it will be off, and our email will be off. Okay, and what else? Okay, so our DNS server will be, these two servers will be connected to the other switch. Okay, okay, for our DNS server, the configuration would be, okay, for the config, for the gateway, we will use this one, which is gateway would be 0.1. Okay, and the 172.160.1, and our Ethernet would be 172.168.0.11. For the services, for the HTTP, we will turn off our HTTP, and our DHCP services will be off, and for our DNS, it will be on. Okay, so for the email, will be off. Okay, and as for our web server, which is www.emaes.edu. Okay, so for the configuration, it will be Okay, gateway will be 172.168.0. As you can see, we are using the same gateway. Okay, so for our IP, it will be 172.168.0. Sorry, 16.0.20. For our services, okay, HTTP would be on, and let's create a website example. We have here, we will put it here. Okay, this is the IP would be, okay, let's copy it. Okay, so okay, and this one will be, okay, and let's add some statements. So hello my fellow classmates. Okay, then save. Okay, since we have our website created here in our web server, we have to this one, we have to register it in our DNS server. So we have to add our website here in our DNS server. So what is that? That is www.emaes.edu, and the IP address would be 172.168.0.20. Okay, then save. Oops. Add. Okay, then add. Sorry, that not save, it will be add. Okay, so now our website here, our web server is already configured in our DNS server. So okay, first up we have to connect our switch 1 to our switch 0. So let's wait. Okay, let's enable it first while we're waiting. So DNS server will be IBS 172.168.0.11. Okay, and our web server will be maybe is 172.16.20. Okay, it's already connected. Okay, let's start accessing our website here. I will try it here in our dynamic PC, which is go to desktop and web browser here. So what is this? www.emaes.edu, then go. Oh, hostname and resolve. So let's check what what is wrong with this one. So let's check it here. So we have to, it is a, remember that it is a dynamic configuration. So let's see. Okay, so that is 172.168.0.1. okay, so let's refresh. Okay, so this one, okay, let's check here. DHCP is starting with 100, 11, 12. So this would be okay. This already okay. So since it is dynamic configuration, it will get an IP address from our DHCP here, which starts with 100. So our PC1 here, the dynamic configuration, it gets the IP 103. Okay, so let's start accessing our website. Web browser, then type our www.amaes.edu, and then okay, let's stop. Let's check first if we can. Let's check first our connection. Okay, so first let's ping our network. So 172.168.0.20. Okay, we have receiving a reply from our web server, and ping 172.16.0.11. okay, so that's the problem. I cannot ping our DNS server, which means we have to check. Let's see. I see the problem. It is have an extra 8 here. So let's try again. Okay, ping 72.16.0.11. okay, so we are already receiving a reply from our DNS server. So be careful of what you type in our IP address. So one incorrect number, it will not connect. So as you can see in our example here. So let's ping also our DHCP, which is 172.168.1.6.0.10. okay, so we are ready to connect to view our website, or connect to our website. Web browser, www.maes.edu. okay, that is our website. It means we can already view our website. So we can already view our website here, our ames.edu, using our our dynamic configuration. Okay, the same with our dynamic PC2 here. See, as you can see, our dynamic PC2, it has the IP address 100, which is that is from our DHCP server. Okay, let's check. Okay, www.amaes.edu. Go the same. Okay, for our static, let's try if we can access our website. For our static, okay, let's view our website es.edu. Okay, hostname unresolved. Why it has an error, hostname unresolved? So if you can see, our static IP would be 172.168.0.90. If we were to compare it to our dynamic settings, okay, this is our dynamic configuration, and this is our static configuration. What's the difference between the two? So our dynamic configuration, it has a subnet, it has the default gateway and the DNS server. So in our static config, we have to manually configure that. So this will be 172.168.0.1, and our DNS would be 172.168.0.11. Let's see if we can already connect to our website, which is www.amaes.edu. Okay, there we can already view our website, or our website in our server, which is in our web server. Okay, so we have already configured our a web programming system here in our Cisco. So okay, what is the difference between the dynamic and our static? So as you can see, you already see the difference between the dynamic configuration is you don't have to configure it manually. The IP address will be coming from our DHCP server, which in our case we set it up to start in 100. So DHCP server will check what is the available IP address and give it to our PC, which is in dynamic configuration, it gives 103 in our case, and our dynamic PC2, it gives the IP 100. Okay, that is the DHCP configuration. That is the dynamic configuration. In contrast with our static configuration, which we manually configured, our IP address. So we have our 172.16.0.90. We have our specific IP for that PC. So we have to manually configure our default gateway and our DNS server to request for our website, request a data from our web server. The advantage of this static IP address, it is already configured. It is from the word itself, static. It is regular. That is already there. It will not be changed. In contrast with our dynamic configuration, if the PC or the end device that has the dynamic configuration, it will change. Like for example, you reboot the PC or restart the PC. Like for this example, I turn it to static and go to the HCP again. That is 103. Now it becomes 102. So dynamic configuration, it changes every time you restart your computer or your PCs. Okay. Okay, for example, you can use dynamic for the PCs. For example, we have an printer. We cannot configure the dynamic, because if you restart your printer with the dynamic configuration, every time you restart, it will have a different IP, and that would be a problem with your end users, because every time they will change your printer configuration. So it is advisable to, when you have a printer, you have to have the static IP configuration. Okay, so okay, the HCP server, I already discussed what is the purpose of our DHCP server. DNS server will be our for example, you request the website ames.edu. This one, since our ames.edu, our website is configured in our DNS server, which is equivalent to 20. Here, our request will go here. Will go first here in our DNS server, and our DNS server here will check if it is registered or not. If it is registered, then it will go to our MES, then request the data here, then come back to our PC, and the request will be granted. So DNS server will be like our phone book here. Okay, here we have to configure all our website to our DNS server to access with our end user. That is our DNS server. So our web server here, we usually configured here in our web server the page or the website that you created, like this one. You have to configure it here. So this one, this is the the main role of this, our DNS server. It is the one who will decide what is to be present the website, the design, and how it is present. Okay, that is our web server. Okay, I already determined the function of the server and the networks. Okay, identify how the server responds to the client request. So okay, from PC here, I request the website, then it will go here in our switch, then go here in another switch, then request, then check if it is registered here in our DNS server. Then our DNS server will check, will send the data in our web server here, and our web server will be the one to present the data here. That is the one, okay, responsible for the presentation of the website here. So okay. Okay, the proposed activity is for the internal.com. We have to create a website which is a www.internal.com. So meaning we have to have another new server, web server. So I have to have another server, and I will name it as www.internal.com. So I will connect my server in our one switch. Okay, so for the configuration of my new server, which is internal.com web server, okay, I will turn on the HTTP. I will turn off the HTTP. My DNS will be turned off, and my email will be turned off. Okay, so this would be the gateway will be 172.6.0.30, and the gateway would be 1, sorry, and the IP address will be 172.168.0.30. Subnet mask will be automatically populated. So for the services, we already configured our services, and the last thing to do is to register it in our DNS server. Here we will register our internal.com or our another web server in our DNS server. So go to DNS, then www.internal.com, and the IP address would be 172.16.0.30. Then add, and for our website, we'll maybe we can make it a simple website here. Okay, maybe we have this one like AI, like artificial intelligence, like like welcome to the future, to the future, this one. Then maybe I will have some definition of artificial intelligence. Maybe this one. Okay, I will just copy paste the definition. Maybe this in this, or delete. Then save. Yes. Okay, so let's try to access our new website using another web server here. Let's access that in my okay. then access it in my PC, which is www.internal.com. Then there you go. Okay, this is my website. I successfully configured our web server, and it can and it is viewable in our PCs here. So okay, go go. Okay, we successfully configured our new web server, which is the internal.com, and it is already viewable in our end users here. So okay, let's answer the question. Okay, number one, what are the HTTP, DNS, and DHCP? Okay, HTTP is a protocol using World Wide Web, which is in our example we use our HTTP protocol, the protocol here in our web server. So how does it work? So HTTP is responsible for our website to work. Okay, so this one will request for the website, and through the help of our HTTP, the website is viewable according to how it is presented. So DNS is the domain name system. It is like the phone book, or the responsible for like it is the middleman of the network connection here. So how does it work? So we will from the end user request, like the website. Okay, from here it will go the request will go to our DNS server, and the DNS server will check if it is recorded in the system. Then the DNS server will send the request to our web server, and if it is, and our web server will will send the data to the requesting end user, and will present it the way it is presented. So that is our DNS server. It is like the phone book of your phone, or the domain name is recorded in that server. So DHCP, okay, as we discussed earlier, DHCP is the one that is the dynamic host control protocol. So if you have a dynamic configuration, our DHCP will give the IP address to that dynamic configuration. So it will check all the IPs, that is available, and it will choose one and send the IP address to that dynamic, to the end user that has the dynamic configuration. So that is the DHCP. So what is the difference between the web design using HTML compared to Cisco packet tracer? So web design using HTML is the hypertext markup language. You will manually using web designing using HTML, it is you need to have a text editor. You can use the HTML, you have the code, and to make it presentable you have to use CSS and JavaScript, wherein Cisco Packet Tracer, it just serve as a the in Cisco Packet Tracer, the website here is just for testing. If you are, it will just indicate if you can connect to the server. That is the website in designing web here in Cisco Packet. So we're in web designing using HTML. It's a different workplace. Like you have to have text editor. Okay. What can you conclude from this activity? Okay. What can I conclude from this activity? Well, during the activity, I learned to configure our DNS server here, our web server, or the HCP server, and troubleshoot the some errors connecting requesting a data from the web server. So again, this is helpful before we configure a website, or in the real world we have to simulate it here first in our Cisco Packet Tracer. So so there you go. Maybe that's it. This is my laboratory exercise number 5, which we configured a web-based what do you call that, web-based programming system in Cisco Packet Tracer. So again, thank you, and thank you for watching my laboratory exercise number 5, and goodbye. Watch out for my next laboratory. Thank you.